He's a sweet.
Partying tonight. I'm partying tonight. Hope everybody is doing well. Welcome to this week. This week I'm giving you the 411. We're going to talk about some good, some bad when it comes to automating your team using labor. So I hope you are excited. Hope you're ready to chat. Hope you're ready for me to give you some great, excellent, and amazing information. So let's get to it. Welcome to this week's Tech Training Tuesday, as I am here every single Tuesday, 9 p.m. to hang out with you, the hashtag Black CEO, you, the automator, you, the new feature builder, you, the person who is dedicated to changing the lives of other people. Why? Because we are here to automate our business and master our destiny. Again, I'm Justin Morgan, the National Tech Director of the Black CEO Movement, and I'm always happy to be here with you, whether you're watching live or via the replay. I appreciate you, and today we're going to talk about what they don't tell you when it comes to automating your business when you actually use a team. We're actually using people, not tools, but when you're actually, and I'm not saying that sounds bad, right? But when you're building a team, okay? So that's what we're going to talk about today. Automation isn't just about having software. It isn't just about having tools or hardware or some fancy piece of tech. Any way that you can accomplish something without you being a part of it yourself is automation. So that also includes having a team in place. So I want to talk about it because there's some things that we mention and we go through and we live when we're building a team that folks say, oh, go out and build a team, but they don't really tell you some of these things that you should look out for. So I'm going to give you some things to look out for, and there's some things that you should actually do, right? So I'm going to actually go through, I got like 6 characters of different folks you can end up having on your team as you're going out there and you're searching, and then some things you should do to help make sure either A, you don't get those people, or B, to allow you to manage those people a little bit better. So as I get ready to get into that, my question of the day for you, is, do you have a team, right? Do you have a team? And if so, then how many people? How big is your team? Which is one. If you don't have a team, what has kept you from having one up to this point? I can tell you personally, for me, I think the scariest part, right, before I started getting people to help me out, was handing off the work and feeling and trusting it was going to get done. That was one thing. The other thing was the headache of hiring people. And so I think when people think about getting a team, right, it's like, I'm going to hire somebody, they're going to magically show up, and all my problems are going to be solved. And unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Like, unfortunately, it does not work that way. So I just wanted to stress that. So as you get here, make sure you say hello. Share this with a friend, family member, or a foe, because they can use this information too. Okay? So let's say hello to folks that are here. Mrs. Morgan, thank you for being here. Appreciate y'all. Let's see, Youthful Resources. Yvette, thank you for being here. John Donaldson, hey, how's it going? Welcome for being here. I appreciate you. So as you get in here, if you have any questions about, automating your team, right, let me know. Feel free to throw a question at me. I've messed with, in terms of dealing with a team, I've been part of the good and the bad. So you can throw out a question and just let me know, and I'll feel free to answer those questions. Umair, hey, how's it going, man? Hope everything is well with you. He's a tech genius, by the way, y'all. So if y'all are looking for a software genius, Umair is definitely somebody to point toward. What's up, Bo? How's it going, man? Welcome. I appreciate you. So yeah, again, what they don't really tell you as you're getting out there, you want to automate your business. So again, first, I'm going to go into the 6 different characters of people that you could end up hiring. So these could be a freelancer, this could be a full-time person, this could be, you know, somebody that's off of Upwork.com, freelancer.com, somebody you met on the street. It doesn't matter, right? Some folks get labor off the street, right? But it doesn't matter. Again, you may end up with these 6 character types. And if you do, I apologize. But it is also a part of the process. It happens to each and every one of us. So make sure you write these people down. Again, I'm gonna go through them. Right, this is going to be an in and out session. I always say that and end up here sitting here talking to y'all for like an hour. But somehow I blame you. But then again, this is going to be quick. It's going to be good information. Okay. So again, first things first. When we really think about it, good evening to you as well. The first person I want to tell you about, I call him the ghost. Right, I call this person the ghost. Now the ghost, right, the ghost that you hire them. Right, so this is really specific to, especially when you talk about a virtual assistant or somebody you hired online that may be in a different place, a different space, a different time zone. And, you know, this seems like it's some new age thing, but more companies, even more corporate companies, are going to working remotely. So the same peril that you go through as an entrepreneur hiring a freelancer is some of the same peril that companies will go through as they allow their teams to work more remotely. So this applies not just from a corporate standpoint, but also not just an entrepreneur standpoint, but also if you're in the corporate world, this also can apply too. But the ghost, that's a person who just disappears on a moment's non-notice, right? So that means they just disappear. So they don't show up, right? So they're supposed to be in today at 9 a.m. just to show up and do this task. And when it's time for them to do this task, they never respond. They're never there. Like they just disappear. And I know you're gonna ask, like, Justin, why does that happen? I can actually tell you there are many different reasons why that happens. And some of my tips may help fight that off, but it happens all the time. I get somebody on, I go to Upwork, they're all for it, they're gung-ho, they apply for the position, I get them in, I interview them, I give them a test, they get in, I think they do great, and then they just disappear. They just disappear, okay? And it sucks, they'll disappear at sometimes days, sometimes it'll be just a day, and they'll be back. Sometimes it'll be days, sometimes it'll be weeks, and they'll come back like, hey, I'm back. It's like, well, where you been? Do you have work for me? No, you disappeared. I had to fire you, right? So, or they respond to you when it's time to fire them, right? It is, for some reason, they disappear. Okay, there's a million reasons why this happens, but that's just something you have to expect. Like, just remember that the first people you get in, like, a lot of times they're not gonna be the ride or die folks that you're looking for the long term. Like, they're just not gonna be they're not gonna be your long-term employees, the ones who are truly faithful and loyal to what you want. It's gonna take time to get those people. So you are gonna get some ghosts. So what that just means for you is, remember, keep your job post on deck, meaning get it ready to be posted at a moment's notice when that person disappears. 2, get more than one person. Like, just don't hire one person for that particular position. You may want to get a couple part-time people first, so that way, somebody can sub in and replace somebody who's disappeared. The other thing is to cross-train. So you have a bigger team, cross-train. So somebody just poof and disappears on you, you can bring in somebody else to temporarily fill those roles and get the job done. So that way you're not bogged down. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing, you have what I would call the gold digger, right? And that's, you got the gold digger, and it is what it is. They charge you too much, right? So they charge you too much. So in the freelancing world, the way it works is somebody can go to a work and have to log their hours. Typically what happens, let's say typically, but sometimes what happens is that freelancers will take 5 hours for a 1 hour job and they'll bill you for the 5 hours, right? And so it's just bound to happen. Like, unfortunately, it's bound to happen. And okay, so what do you do? Like, how do you prevent that? Well, sometimes you just can't. Like, they're going to overprice you. So make sure that when you're budgeting and you look at what your labor costs are going to be, right, and you think about those things, so make sure you got room, right? So make sure you got room because they may not get done what you need to get done. Also, from your end, just just have an expectation of how many things you need them to get done in a week. And so if you make it project based, and so you have to get those certain things done, no matter, they may overcharge you or they may charge you the same amount, but at least you get what you expected out of them. I don't know if that makes sense, but just hang on that one for a second. And then the other part is changing your pricing. So make sure you're doing, instead of doing by hour, maybe do by project. Right? So that way there's no extra fees, there's no dilly-dallying. They want to get it done fast, get it out the way, and move on to the next thing so they can collect their check. Right? So that's another way to stave and kind of carve that off. The other part, and the last thing I'll give, I realize I'm getting a lot of good tidbits. I'm going to throw this in this is going to be in a lesson somewhere at some point. I have to take this down. I'm kidding. I'm going to put this as many places as I can, and then I'll take it down. But what you do, other way you prevent that problem of them overcharging you is by understanding the scope of the job. Okay, so a lot of times what I do whenever I am, creating projects is it's usually something I've done before or I'm familiar with, right? And so I know that if I give you this thing, it only takes an hour. But if you take 5 hours on it, I know that you're gypping me. I may not ask for my money back, but I will fire you, right? So I will get rid of you, or maybe just not give you any work. I actually have somebody, I'm trying to test on that right now, because again, I gave him something to do. I felt like he took a little bit longer. I looked at the invoices and the prices, and it looked like he took the full amount of time. Like, it really didn't take that long. Like, so then what I did was I told him next time, it really doesn't take that long. So just know that. Like, it really doesn't take that long. So if I give you this to do, just know, like, when I look at the time slot, like, it better not be that way, right? So I actually had to let him know that. Okay, so that is that piece. That's the second person. I said I wasn't going to go too deep into these, but I'm loving it right now. Otherwise, the next person is what I would call the rookie, right? So the rookie is a person who's just not ready. So what they do is they overpromise, and they really just wanted to get the job. So it's a person who like puts too much stuff on their resume, and you sit them down at the desk, and you say, "Hey, I need you to do this," and they just kind of stare at you, and then they ask you, "Oh yeah, I gotta go use the bathroom. I'll get it done later." While they scramble to figure it out, right? So that's that person. So again, when I said this also works in the corporate world, like it's the same profiles also exist, okay? The same profiles exist there as well. All right, so again, those folks, what can you do there? One, I try to test people when I hire them. All right, so it may not be the most complicated test, but at least it's a basic test of their skill and ability. And then I look at their, when I look at their resume, their proposal, if they're promising too much stuff, like it kind of just, all right, you're not specialized. You can code. You can do graphic design. You're also a VA and a lawyer. One of those things don't fit, right? So those people, I just say, hey, yeah, no. I am glad you're excited, but you really aren't for this job. I can guarantee you're not skilled enough. Okay, so that's one way to think about that one. So that's the third one. The fourth person, as I see everybody's hanging out, make sure if y'all are liking this, share it out, let somebody else see it, and enjoy it, okay? Number 4 would be the would-be champ. What is that? The would-be champ. That's the person who is great. Like, they are amazing. So you get them in, and once they are rocking and rolling and responsive, they do stuff on their own. Like, you don't have to babysit them, right? And then they got to peace out. They either A, have been doing their own thing and are ready to start their own thing, or they get hired by somebody else who's willing to pay them more. This happens a lot to new entrepreneurs because you get somebody who's cheap, right? You get them cheap. You get up in there, right? You get them cheap. And then they get better, and they get better, and they start picking up other people, and they realize they can charge more. And so instead of asking you for more, they'll just say, hey, I'm ready to move on to something else and get paid more. And so this is expected, right? This is expected. This can happen. Just sometimes it will happen more than often. And so again, this is why it's important you have a constantly growing, or at least a well-trained and well-universal team. Okay? The other person, the next one is the baby. Right? The next one is the baby. So as I talked about, the last person has to be babysat. The baby has to be babysat. That means that you have to explain every single thing to them. If you say, hey, just go off and do this, they'll say, oh, how? Well, what exactly do you want done? This isn't necessarily the biggest problem. There's a way to solve this with procedure. I'll just say that. The way to solve this is with procedure. Okay? But you will get that person just like, hey, you got to spell out every single step for me. And that person can become a headache unless you have procedures in place already, and that person actually could be a very good employee because they will follow your directions to the T. They won't go off and do anything else, right? They won't go off and do anything else. Don't expect them to go grow your biz and do something crazy and move your bottom line for you or be creative. But they will do exactly what you tell them to the dot. Okay, to the dot. All right, so just think about that. All right, the next person. What's up, Zuri? How's it going? Welcome, Zuri. Welcome. Okay, so the next person. All right, the next person. Again, I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything in the chat. Okay, the next person would be what I would call the foreigner. And I don't mean that in an offensive manner. Not trying to offend anybody for foreign. No, this is just a persona here for this particular video. But we're going to just talk to somebody who is overseas, who's working, who doesn't speak the best English. But here's the problem. On their application, their English turned out to be perfect because they had this pre-scripted, pre-reported, it was well put together and rehearsed and edited, and then when you get to work with them, they don't understand a word. Like, that does happen. So it becomes this big language barrier. It becomes a huge challenge for you to manage, right? It becomes a huge challenge for you to manage. So just think about it. When you're hiring somebody, try to have some natural conversation and interview process, whether it be via text or via the phone or Skype or however you got to do it. But just make sure you're having some conversation with them. That way you can challenge the vocabulary a little bit. You want to know how much work you're going to have to do in order for you to communicate with them. What's up, Dakisha? Welcome. I know I'm like infringing on your stuff, not in stealing her stuff, but she talks about outsourcing and things of that nature as well. She's the virtual COO, so this stuff is very much in your alley. I appreciate you being here. But I'm just trying to tell them that automation is more than just tools. It also comes down to having a team and the personas that go along with having that team. So Dakisha will probably know all these characters. I'm going through some characters with them today. Yeah, she laughed. I'm going through some characters today. The different characters that you end up hiring in your business. So I think we're on to the last one that I can at least talk about today. There's others, but the last one I'll talk about is the eager beaver. Right? That's what I'm talking about, is the eager beaver. So this person will end up in your inbox all day, every day, asking for work. Justin, you got any projects? Justin, is there any more work? Justin, anything else I can do? Justin. Oftentimes the eager beaver will turn into the gold digger. Why? Because they need the work. Right? Because they need the work. The eager beaver will turn into the gold digger. It's just like they need the work. So what do? You give them a small project and they overcharge you. Right? The eager beaver. So a lot of times with these folks, if you can't slow them down, then you just gotta let them go. Like you can't. You can't. Sometimes you just don't have a project. Right? Right? Sometimes you just don't have a project. Sometimes it's just not their time. Sometimes you have a bigger thing for them to do. Maybe they're seasonal. Maybe, again, if they're project-based, they're not going to have work all the time. So if they're just bugging you, right? And then here's the kicker. Eager beavers are oftentimes that I've had to let go, and they come back still asking for work. Like, there's a reason we're not working together. Like, it's just, there's a reason. There's a reason. You got to go. Like, it's just not going to work. It's not going to work. So, okay. So, that's enough of the personas. Here's some quick tips I'm going to give you that may help. And I've given some tips that I've gone through, but this will help kind of prevent some of these issues. So again, the whole point is to build a team that actually cares about what you do, is actually interested in the mission and the goal. So the first part of that is, one, is to announce your goals on a regular basis. One of the things that I've made a practice to do, try each and every Monday to let my crew know like what my intention is this week. One, it gets them clued into what I'm doing, lets them know like I'm a human being and I actually have, you know, a vision for the company. I don't just see them just as just kind of pawns on a board, like they actually matter. And so what I plan on doing is something that is shareable with them. Like it's not some hidden secret. And also gives them some heads up on some things they should expect in the future. Okay? So that's the one thing. So that helps keep some of those champions in, because it helps lock them into what you actually want to do. The second part is checking in with them. Like, you can't just show up every once in a while and be like, hey, here, I got work for you. Like, no, check in with them. And why is this important? Because, again, this one, when you check in with them, it makes them feel like they matter. Two, it helps prevent the ghost, because when you check in with them more often, it lets them give opportunities to kind of let you know, hey, something's going on, my technology's down, internet is down, like I have family situations, somebody died, I got to travel. Like, checking in with them lets them know, like, hey, they can communicate with you and give you some real insight on actually what's going on with their life, right? I'm not saying you have to learn their entire life story or become best friends with them, but just check in with them because they are people, right? So that's that. The other thing is, part of checking in with them is making sure they have periods of time to check in with you. Okay, so one of the things I found that works is when you have a team, you give them a regular time to check in with you. Then it's a must. Like, they have to show up at that time. If they don't show up at that time, there's a problem. And it's grounds for dismissal, right? It's grounds to get fired. Right? So that check-in could be once a day. That check-in, depending on how often they work, could be once a week. But again, that helps prevent the ghost, right? It helps get a chance to ask you questions if they need them. It helps you prevent folks from, you know, just not being in tune with what's actually going down. Okay? So that's peace. So make sure you do that. The other part is to warm them up, right? To warm them up. So what I've actually found is that sometimes when you hire somebody, it's not that they're good, but you give them too much too fast. Or you just give them something they don't understand, not because they don't have the skill, they don't know the context yet. Like, again, sometimes you're dealing with folks who speak other languages, so they can understand English, but you got to give them some time to really get the context down. They don't have all the, you know, social innuendos. They don't understand all the slang, all the words and all the terms you always use in your sentence structure. So sometimes they get it, they can get it, but you got to give them time to get it. And so you have to warm them up. I remember one time I had an admin, I said, hey, go here, take over my email inbox. Here's the procedure to do it. And so after I checked in a little bit later, I was like, hey, how's it going? Again, checking in. They're like, Justin, it's too much. Like, can you help me? Like, give me some direction. It's too much. And I said, no. And then after that, I said, hey, just take it an email at a time. Just let me know if you have a question. But it's really just a learning experience for you. And just let me know if you want me to answer the email through you. And so what I did at that point, right, was they just sent me the emails and I could just answer. And they actually started getting to work, right? Because I checked in, right? And then I walked it back and then kind of let them warm into it. Right? Let them warm into it. Okay? So that's that piece. The other piece is making sure you have a project management system in place. Why? Because it allows you to create expected deadlines, right? It allows you to give scope of projects and make them clear. So again, this eliminates the ghost, at least gives the ghost a reason to stick around. If you give deadlines, it's like, hey, this deadline done, it's important. At least get it done by this time. Two, as you talk about the goal digger, you can map out the scope of the project and say, hey, here in this tool, this project takes this long. Just so you know, it takes this long. So don't expect any more hours than that, right? Anything more than that is ludicrous. Ludicrous, okay? And it gives you a chance to put procedures in place so that you can put a baby in position. I know you're like, baby. Yeah, a baby. If you just show up, then of course you're not going to get it. put the baby in position to do an amazing job, because the project management system has procedures, it shows steps, it shows the next things that need to be taken care of, and it's clear what the objectives are. Okay? And then lastly, I kind of mentioned this is kind of the soft one, right? It's treat them like people. Like, treat them like people. They are people too, right? Freelancers, agents, folks that you hire, outsourced work, corporate employees, partners, I don't know, contractors, they're all people too. And so if you treat them like people versus pawns, I know I talk about tools, and I talk about software, and I talk about being strategic, and I talk about leveraging, but in the end, I still understand that even when automating via labor, like with a team, that they're still people with hearts, with families, with souls, right? So don't treat them like machines, treat them like people. So if you have what needs to be done, and it's late on a Friday night, right? You got something needs to be done late on a Friday night, don't give it to your team and Friday night. They got family and things they're doing too, right? Don't do that to them. You can, but don't, right? Don't. Be understanding. Just treat them like people, and they'll treat you like a person. They'll treat you and your mission the same way, as if it had heart, right? They'll take care of it. Okay? So that's what I got for today. And so again, this is if you actually want to manage and build a team. Now there's a difference. You can build a team or you can hire a team. You can build a team or you can hire a team. This is talking about the process, the follies and the 401 of and building and hiring a team. But you can also, hire a team. Building and structuring and running a team, okay? But you can also hire a team instead. So hire a team is like getting a consultant agency, a digital agency, somebody to actually run it for you, okay? So if you want to hire a team, like all this work seems like too much for you, you want to hire a team instead of building a team, go ahead and go to jointechlabs.net. That is the program that I'm running. jointechlabs.net. Join Tech, T-E-C-H, Labs, L-A-B-S, .net, and you can hire us to be your team. That's my one pitch for today. I hope everybody is doing well. Hope you enjoyed this session. Do me a favor, make sure you leave your information below. If you want my guide, your manual to be able to automate your business, like, hey Justin, I don't even know if I want to hire a team yet, but I would like to know, A, what tools I can use to automate my business, and if you want to know how you can hire a team strategically, right? Also go a little bit deeper in that guide in terms of what people you should get. Text the word auto, 240-696-2009. Text the word auto, 240-696-2009. Text the word auto, 240-696-2009. You can pick up the free automation guide that will actually help you out. Okay, it actually is very much of use. Okay, so I appreciate each and every one of y'all. I don't see any questions. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, whether you watch this live or on the replay, because I'm sure there'll be a lot of replay viewers. I'm gonna push this thing out there after it's over. Okay, so make sure you put your questions and make sure you tag me, because it'll be easy for me to come back and find those questions. If you tag me, I do go back and answer questions if you tag me. Okay, so tag me when you do that. Share this with a friend, a family member, and even your foes, because they need this information too. I'm Justin Morgan, the hashtag Black CEO National Tech Director. Again, make sure that you automate your business and you master your destiny. I'll see you next time, and as usual, treat each day as a building block to a better future. Peace.